Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mindset, Money, Success. And I'm your host, Loraine Marshall. And in this week's podcast, I'm covering a topic that I discovered 30 years ago in the 90s. Now, it's the universal laws of prosperity. And what I'm going to do is take a look at 7 principles that have now come part of the personal development law of attraction and manifesting. And you might be familiar with the book of The Secret and the film that followed. So it's all about the universal or the spiritual laws of prosperity. And if you've listened to my other episodes, that you may have heard me mention how I listened to personal development audios and attended business seminars where I heard Jim Rohn live on stage, and how I listened to his audios at that time. And when I actually found Randy Gage and his version of Catherine Ponder's teachings. So Catherine Ponder is an author and a leading prosperity thinker. She introduced the principles through her publishing of her book, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. Now, she published this book in 1962, which was around the time that I was born. And I didn't know anything about Catherine Ponder until 1990, when I actually purchased the tape cassette of the product that Randy Gage had created. And he built on what he'd learned and his personal life to create this product. And it was called Prosperity: How to Apply Spiritual Laws to Create Health, Wealth, and Abundance in Your Life. So he basically took the ideas that he'd learned from Catherine Ponder's teachings, and then he brought them forward into the realm of self-help and personal growth, while he related it to his own personal life and his life experiences. And so this is the material that I was listening to back in the late 90s. And really what happened was I found it because of another innovation that happened at this time, which was the World Wide Web, because his audio program became global as he was then able to sell worldwide. I was based in England in the Northeast, and this product was created in the US. And because of the power of this and being able to advertise online, that's how I found the product that I purchased. So he'd been able to roll out the program across the globe. And obviously it made him very wealthy at that time. And he'd obviously put a lot of money into creating his program. So based on that and this new wave of prosperity consciousness, let's take a look at these 7 universal principles. So firstly, the imaging law of prosperity. Now, imaging law of prosperity is all about visualization and a picture in your mind. And so the law teaches that what you can consistently imagine and hold in your mind's eye, then you can actually create this in your life. By forming this mental image and this picture of what you actually desire, what you really want, then you can set that process of manifestation in motion. And basically what it is, it's like you've got an idea, you've got a goal of an idea, and when you can actually then imagine that being created, you can then move forward on small steps towards that. So, Imogen Law of Prosperity states that what we focus on expands, and by visualizing our desires and outcomes and holding a positive mental image and attaching emotions to that image, then we can attract abundance into our lives. And it's like planting the tiny seeds of prosperity in our minds and then allowing it to grow so that we can then manifest the dreams and desires that we have. So you could do this through meditation and creating vision boards. And there is a quote that I've heard a few times before, and that's chance favors the prepared mind. Now, I didn't know where that quote came from, but I have heard it said. And so I went to check, and apparently it's been attributed to Louis Pasteur. So the quote emphasizes the importance of being knowledgeable and being prepared to seize opportunities when they arise. So I think it is more about having goals and being able to use your mind to see the goals. So let's move on to the next law, the vacuum law of prosperity. And the vacuum law of prosperity states that nature abhors a vacuum. Now, I know from listening to lots of successful people that before they became successful, they had some big event in their life, some trauma, some adversity, some challenges. There's a lot of professional, successful people out there who can't tell their story of what happened before and how they rose after that to become big earners, multiple figure earners, even millionaires. And so the vacuum law is like you've had this loss, all right, where, I've heard of homeless people, people who've gone bankrupt, lost their house, lost everything they had, and had to restart and rebuild from that point and move forward with their life. I've heard other stories where the person has got into a whole load of debt from their entrepreneurial endeavors and had to then start again. It's a bit like a phoenix rising from the ashes. So this is how people tell their stories of this is where I was and this is where I am now. So it's not basically plain sailing. So this is part of the vacuum law of prosperity. And in order to use this vacuum law, it's like you've got to make room for the prosperity in your life. So you've got to clear out the old. That could be physical clutter, outdated beliefs, any emotional baggage that you're dragging behind you. So this law reminds us that we've got to let go of what no longer serves us in order to welcome in new blessings and new abundance. So whether it's just clearing your workspace or releasing your limiting beliefs, creating a vacuum paves the way for some new opportunities and abundance. So if you've got some things in your life that you really don't like anymore or you don't want, you should really get rid of them. Sell them, give them away, or throw them out. That way, once you've decluttered and made space, which is the vacuum, then you can start to make way for the new things that you do like and the things that you want and desire in your life. So that's the vacuum law of prosperity. Now let's take a look at the law of tithing. I first heard of this obviously a long time ago, and it was explained about how tithing represents 10, so it's like 10%. So the law of tithing encourages us to give back a portion of what we receive. So by giving 10% of your income or resources to a cause or a community, and some people say the church, and whatever basically inspires them. Some people will give to charities and things like that. So you align yourself with the flow of prosperity. So once you bring it in the a stable form of income, then in order to help with this law, it's like, okay, I'm bringing in this money, so therefore I can now tithe 10% of this money into that community benefit. And I think a lot of people hundreds of years ago did do this type of thing, where they put back. So they were building businesses, and in them areas where they were building businesses, and they were giving back to the workers, they were giving back to the community. For example, they would be building houses for their employees because the places that they were building their businesses were basically agricultural and didn't have places to live. And so that's how big business and employers and companies gave back at that time. I think there's an example of the chocolate factories in York was one example that I've obviously knew about. Now, the next law of prosperity is the circulation law of prosperity. So prosperity, like energy, is got to circulate in order to grow. So the circulation law of prosperity emphasizes the importance of allowing wealth, love, and positive energy to flow freely in your life. So whether this is like money, talents, kindness, circulating what you have keeps the abundance moving and attracts more back to you. Now, if there's any stagnation or block that can block prosperity from circulating. So the circulation creates a continuous cycle of giving and receiving. And by spending wisely, investing thoughtfully, and supporting other people, then we can create this positive cycle of abundance that benefits ourselves. And it's not just all about money, because it's about how you can support other people and give back and give value. And so, there's lots of people out there who have businesses and they give a lot of value first. Once you align with that person and understand the value that they're providing, that's when people can decide, oh, what is this person actually selling, or what is this, what's the business this person has, and that's when you see that you built some trust basically, and that's how the prosperity can come in then, because you've given value over time, you've given so much value that your clients and people out there, people that you don't know, start to trust what you say, and that's how you can end up selling products and services to these people through giving value, which has an advertising benefit to it as well. Now, let's think. The creativity law of prosperity is next. So the creativity law of prosperity, that's about tapping into your inner genius. So everybody has got a creative power to be able to transform their life and then manifest prosperity or create the dream that you want. It could be that you want to start a business or you're entrepreneurial and you've got ideas. So this is the creative law of prosperity. And it encourages you to use your imagination and your unique talents to enable you to create solutions and then seize opportunities. So by embracing this, like creativity that you have, you can open up new channels, and then bring in more money into your life. And your mind is the most powerful tool for manifesting abundance. It takes a little time to do this, but if you can think of a challenge that you have or others have, and you can use your imagination and your resourcefulness to overcome that challenge, then you can then assist others who have the same or similar challenges. And we could do this by tapping into our creative potential so that we can develop new ideas and opportunities. And then by creating these, that will lead us to prosperity. So remember, everything is created twice. First in the mind, and then in reality. There is a mental first creation and a physical second creation. It's like writing a book. First, you have the idea, the thought, then it takes shape in reality as you write and then publish your book. Life becomes worthwhile when you have worthwhile goals. So remember that. Now, the law of giving and receiving. The law of giving and receiving is based on the idea that whatever you give, you will receive multiplied. And when you give generously without expecting anything in return, you set up a vibration of abundance. Now, this law teaches that life is a balance of contribution and reward. So prosperity comes when we learn to give freely and receive openly, knowing that we are part of a larger cycle of abundance. Now, by offering value to others, we create a positive energy of exchange. Now, that can attract abundance back into our lives. So the more you give of yourself without expecting a return, the more that will come back to you. It's basically a bit like planting the seeds in the ground. We can't see what's happening, but we keep on planting the seeds. And then months later, we've got the seeds germinated and they've grown and eventually they bear fruit. But it doesn't happen straight away. So that is the law of giving and receiving. The law of forgiveness. Now, the law of forgiveness is one of the most talked about things, especially in the circles that I'm in, because coming with the domestic violence, the domestic abuse, and having a lot of followers who have been through that particular situation, forgiveness is a bit of a mute point with some people. So it's like some say yes and some will say no. But the law of forgiveness is an aspect that where we hold on to resentment and grudges, it creates energetic blocks that prevent you from receiving the prosperity and the health and the happiness that you deserve. So it's forgiveness of others and forgiveness of yourself. Now, this will release these blocks, clears away the blockages so that you can be on the path to success. There's nothing worse than being stuck, having tried a lot of things and not gotten very far. And quite often it's our own self-sabotage that blocks us in the process of receiving, you know, um, the the benefits of the things that we are doing. So by forgiving, you can free yourself from all of the past, the hurt, any betrayals. And so we can then open the door to new opportunities coming into our life, new friendships, new business, uh, a new career. It can all start to flow in. And you'll probably notice the difference once you've done some of the practices to help you with the law of forgiveness. Um, so it basically encourages us to let go of the negative emotions, which is all of the anger, the shame, the guilt, and all of that, to be able to create space for the positive energies, to come in. So like acceptance, learning a new skill, happiness, joy, and all of those. Now, I have used affirmations, and one of my YouTube channels is all about affirmations, and it tells a little bit of my background story of what happened from 2020. I actually created the channel in 2021. So that channel has a few positive affirmations on there. But from reading a book by Dr. Joe Vitale, I came across an affirmation which is all about forgiveness. It's actually called the Ho'oponopono prayer, and it's very powerful. I'm not going to tell you how where it's from or the background of this, but I'll just read out what the actual prayer is. So it starts with, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. That's it. That is the affirmation. Now, any time that you need to forgive people, what you can do is, I learned this from a seminar from Bob Proctor and the Proctor Gallagher business. What you can do is write down 3 people that have caused some hurt or betrayal, and you can make the statement that you want to forgive these 3 people, and then repeat the affirmation. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And then try and release any of the hurt that you're feeling with these people who've caused you any damage. Now, this is for you only and not for those other people. So those are the 7 universal laws, or as Randy Gage says, prosperity laws, and as Catherine Ponder said, the dynamic laws. So what we've looked at is the powerful universal laws and how you can apply those and how they can transform your life and bring you into peace, health, and happiness. Now, whether this is through the visualization, the giving, the forgiveness, the path to prosperity is about aligning yourself with the spiritual principles and putting into practice some of the principles. You don't have to put them all into practice at once, because personal growth is a journey, like healing is a journey, and it's one step at a time. So if you can change one thing in your life right now, then once you've made that a habit, then you can change another thing to make that a habit. And over time, once you've changed things that you don't like that's in your life, then you'll find automatically that you will have more peace, more happiness, and hopefully more joy. So, hope you can tune in next week as we continue discussing these topics around how to master your mindset, multiply your money, maximize your success on the podcast Mindset, Money, Success. So you can move from trauma to transformation. And if you're a woman over 40, you can join me in our no-cost, zero-commitment support community. And the link will be in the description box below the video or in the show notes on the audio version of this podcast. So if you've enjoyed this episode, a little support goes a long way and it's free. So like, comment, leave a review, share, and follow on my other platforms. So thank you for listening and bye for now.